Beautiful souls, welcome back. This is Follow Your Path. This particular video, I knew that I needed to shoot in nature so that it could be at its highest potency for you. This is for the souls who are here to walk the path of courage, the path of authenticity, the ones who have always struggled fitting into a box or a system or a job or just doing things that are out of alignment with your soul essence and feeling any energy of obligation to do that. This is for the souls who know that they are here to walk a path that's going to be an example for a lot of people around them. It takes courage. This is trailblazing. This is going into the unknown. And this is all part of the game of starting to embody your soul essence, starting to embody the true self beyond the distorted ego persona that we've all been carrying around. This is where the world is going, but you watching this video, you're one of those beautiful people who is going first, and you're looking around you in the world and you're saying, no, there's something more to this, and there's something way more inside of me. And that stirring that you feel, maybe that frustration, maybe that sense of instability, it's that movement within you, that part of you that's like, let's get this thing going. This is why we're here. This video is for those people. Because to shed that snakeskin of that programming, of the cultural influence, of the influence of the people around you, and having to go through a period of maybe isolation or a period of giving up, some fun or some financial stability, whatever it might be, there's some gap. There's an initiation that you have to go through in order to start to bring this energy in, this life force getting to start to move inside of you. I know for me that I felt like I have sacrificed many years of some of the prime years of my life, although that story changes more and evolves as I go, where it's like the more of myself I become, that's really me in my prime. And it doesn't matter what age that occurs, it's that consciousness being lived in the body, where you're not just like looping in the mental schisms all the time. Making yourself suffer. This is about a transition period where you start to invite in that conviction, that knowingness of who you are. You look around you and you start to know yourself as a divine being, a being of energy, and you start to realize that you're playing the game with you and that this is your consciousness and this is your garden to tend to. And so if you're not paying attention to it and you're distracting yourself and putting that attention in other places, things are going to feel scattered. And I know that very deeply. And this is why I bring it up, because in the sense of divine timing, your soul is, hey, you can squander these years. You can not do this. You can, put one foot in, take it out. And that's fine. You're going to get there either way. But the invitation is, let's hit the accelerator here, if this is what you choose, and allow all of the things that need to come forth, that need to be released, to do so, and have the courage and the strength and the wisdom and the gnosis while that happens, the support while that happens, to allow that skin to shed at an accelerated rate. Now, for me, this has been an ongoing thing. Like, none of the pieces out here seem to truly fit for me. And I knew that I've always known this is a big time on planet Earth. I've always known, especially with the people that I started to come across as I started to change my frequency and I started to shift my perception, because that's all it is, folks. When your perception shifts, the mirror changes and it starts to show you that. And as you unravel the layers of reality within yourself and you start to rise up that elevator, like I always talk about in the videos, of your consciousness out of the basement, out of that tiny little box, and you start to get to the higher views of your apartment building, your high rise, where all of a sudden you can see things as they are. All those things that you were fearing, they're not scary at all. But it was a perception that you were stuck in that made it seem scary. That was coming from a perception of lack of limitation, where you were in the small self frame, where things in the outer world all seemed like Goliath, right? All of the things that we would obsess over, whether it was money and scarcity in that way, or it was things with relationships, or it was things with our career, or it was our disconnection from ourself and confusion and doubt and all of that stuff. You realize that those were actually beautiful things and teachers to show you that you were in an errored way of thinking and perceiving. And that's all they were ever doing. So if we can, even if you've been doing that for 20 years, you can take a breath and just allow the gravity and the momentum of that 20-year period to just be released so effortlessly to the earth and come into that place of, what would I like to create from here? Okay, now that I know that the fear and the doubt was always a distortion and it was a branch away from my tree, what would I choose in the knowingness of who I am, where reality starts to come towards me? I'm now the cause, and this is the effect. How would you operate in that place? Where would you put your attention from that place? And this is the game. How much can you anchor what I'm saying into your body and make it enjoyable? Make it fun. Don't have it be this rigid spiritual thing. That is a very deep religious programming, right? It's like seriousness and shadows and this anthropomorphic lens of God, of the universe, which is dissolving and it is clearing out of the collective field. So glad that's happening. Right? This is the view of God that we project as a human. It's like the Old Testament God, where it's always judging us and smiting people, and it gets angry, and you could go to hell, and there's all this guilt, and there's this punishment, and there's this like self-flagellation. There's this only God can forgive our sins. But if you're carrying the divine within you, and the universe is saying, hey, I wanted to have this experience as you, my beautiful child, and then you're the one holding the guilt, when the guilt's already, like, that is in itself is a distortion. Anything that you did, any sin that you committed, which just means that you missed the mark. You went into a state of forgetfulness. You made a decision from a place of a lower consciousness. You were in the basement, right? God does not blame you for that. There is no blame. This is all a beautiful school of getting to know yourself, coming back to the oneness, being the prodigal son that wanders into the dark and makes their way back to the light. That's what this is. And so if you're not forgiving yourself, you're binding yourself to the thing, you're holding guilt, your vibrational field is very weak, because this is part of the higher consciousness, right? It's starting to realize that you are an electromagnetic field of information that is being informed by your thoughts and emotions. And so if you're not intentionally putting forth new thoughts, and you're not training yourself to feel those elevated emotions, to get excited about life, to be in a place of engagement instead of avoidance, and starting to be grateful for your shadows and the things that are trying to teach you where you've been out of alignment so that you can find your way back to the Father's house, then God can only give you that, right? That the way that you bless yourself is the way that the Creator blesses you, because you are an extension of it. So wherever you're at, whatever is happening, at the very least, give yourself the grace of letting go and forgiving the things that you've been holding on to. Bless the people that have hurt you. Bless the circumstances that have brought pain, right? Because when you can bless them, that's coming from a place of knowing who you are. And now reality gets to reflect who you really are. You're not in the basement being a victim, and then getting more victim experiences reflected back to you. You've transcended that, and this is the process that we're all going through, my beautiful friends. You are so beyond worthy, and it's my greatest prayer that we all start to take responsibility for this and help each other with this. And in doing so, we let go of the judgments, right? You can start to see people when they're in their shadows, and you don't judge them for it, because you know that you've had that too. And that same shadow lives within you at some capacity. You've been the source of that for somebody else at some point. And that's oneness. All right? This is what's happening right now. It's you start to see the kindergarten level that you are operating in, which is to hold on to resentment and anger and not forgive, especially yourself, right? And it's not narcissistic, like, oh, I can just do whatever and then forgive myself. We can discern the difference between those two, because you learn. You forgive from a place of, I learned, that's exciting, thank you, I'm grateful for the learning experience. So that when that choice point comes back around, you're not holding guilt that's going to repeat the process again. And that cycle just continues until you stop it through the forgiveness. That's why Yeshua was so big on forgiveness, because he knew how this works. The song that is in you, the contribution that you are here to make from the place of knowing yourself, from showing the way by walking into the unknown and saying, not only is it safe, but all of my joy, all of my excitement and fulfillment, everything that the Creator has laid out for me is in the unknown. It is beyond the memory. It is beyond the past experiences you've had. That, by the way, your brain is always going to log that, and it's going to remember things that caused pain. But the conscious Creator can see that memory come up and continue to create opposite to that, continues to go into the unknown with an open heart, with a level of excitement, and is able to regulate their nervous system in a way where the brain from that fear paradigm is not making all the decisions, where the reptilian brain, the overstimulated amygdala, is no longer making the decision. This is a huge part of our human evolution, right? To start to get out of that primitive thinking, get out of the basement, go up the elevator, and realize who you are. Because there's a beautiful, beautiful path, and it's not linear, and I'm going to do a whole other video on that, right? There's no linearity to this. You are a multi-dimensional being that is a particle and a wave at the same time, and your attention collapses it into a particle. And that's what manifestation is. That's what creating your reality is. So it's your attention, as always, that is the biggest piece of this thing. And if you are not meditating and you're not taking space to start to cultivate that attention and anchor it in presence, anchor it in the things that you would like to create, anchor it in a sense of peace, right? Where when turbulence comes up, when doubt or fear or resentment comes up, you just release it back to source. You just release it back to the earth. You take a breath, you let it go, and you continue on your way. You doing this, my beautiful friends, is a massive contribution, as I've said on here before, to the collective field, right? And it takes courage. It feels very vulnerable to the body. It's not easy. But you can have fun while you do this. You can make it a game to level up, to build your aura, just like all of these people are doing with their video game characters, but not doing for themselves. You are the video game character, right? Build that confidence. Be the you that lights up a room, that brings an uplifting energy to every space that they walk into. You have that capacity. You can do whatever you would like with this thing. Spend some time with it. Get to know it. Start to feel it. Give yourself the space to let it in instead of just shuffling around like an automaton and letting your past experiences and letting the outer world tell you who to be and what's right, what's wrong, what's true, what's not true. No. This is a reclaiming, right? This is just getting rid of everything that's not you. That's what this channel is all about. That's why I do what I do. This is why I work with people the way that I do, because this is why I'm on the planet, my friends. This is, my soul came here for this particular time, this very special time, to help awaken other beautiful souls. That's where I get my joy and fulfillment from. Some people get that from accounting. Some people get that from architecture. We all are playing our roles, right? Now, if you're watching this, you have a beautiful, unique role too. And I want to say, it's not just one thing a lot of the time. For me, and I hope this invites in possibility for you to show you, to highlight what I'm saying. For me, not only is it doing this one-on-one work, which I said I do not want to do this in a clinical way. I do not want to get Western indoctrination around going to a university, getting a degree in this, and going down that path. I'm here to learn through life experience, and I'm here to follow my heart, which has always done this with people since I was a child, and everyone telling me their stuff. And there's a lot of other things too. I do DJing events where I love to start parties. I love to get people dancing. I love to help people get out of that awkwardness, that stifledness where they can't express themselves and move freely and have fun. Because that was me at one point. And now I'm getting paid to create events to help people get out of that and do this sort of shamanic dance that moves the energy around where everyone's having fun. So that came in out of nowhere. I lead retreats where we do some plant medicine work, but mostly it's, hey, let's just come together and tell the truth, and let's enjoy being in this space together, connecting as human beings, our hearts connecting, creating that coherence, laughing together, sharing meals together, talking about truth, sharing our truth together, having a good time, being in nature, disconnected from technology and distraction, and coming back to the essence and the element of what's really important on this planet, which again comes down to the way that you make people feel, the impact that you have on others, right? And letting go of everything that's holding you back. That's where we're at right now. And so I say, like, when you're in tune with the universe, there's so many cool parts of your path that you can serve, that you can contribute. You might write a book, you might make videos, you might play beautiful music, you might be some kind of artist that has a wonderful way of doing things in the world that brings value to people. That's what it comes down to, the value that you want to bring, that your soul is here to bring, that just feels kind of effortless, really just like, yes. Like this transmission in the forest, doing this, you know, as I'm walking, I start to tune into the earth. I start to feel it in my heart. Okay, like what's the transmission that wants to come through me here? Like what's the most value and energy that I can bring to the beautiful beings who are taking time out of their day to tune into my stuff? What is it that they're needing? What is it that their heart needs? So it comes from service. And as I do it, it feels so good to let this energy come through and speak it to you all. And that's why I do it. And I am so grateful to be on this journey with you. And I pray that you received value from this. And if you did, subscribe. If you're still watching and you haven't subscribed, it's like 85 to 95% of people aren't subscribed, but they watch stuff. And that's cool. But in order to get this message out to more people and to start to build this thing more, that's all I ask for in return. Like, subscribe. I used to make fun of that when people said it. Now I get it as a creator. And you will too if you create content. It's just a natural piece of the evolution. But, and also, I do have a couple more one-on-one spots that are open for this summer. And I want I have two beautiful souls that are just ready to have so much fun and also go all in. So they get to see what it's like for 3 months to be in that space of accountability, of changing their thoughts, changing their frequency, and putting their focus in new places, taking action that kills the old part that wouldn't take that action because they were at a place of fear. Simple distortion, you clear it out, boom. So, with that being said, you know where to find me. Your soul will know if this is the right time, okay? There's a lot of good things happening here. If you are a man, we have an in-person retreat in Montana. I'm going to talk more about that in another video, but you'll get to experience all of this. And those are some of the most magical retreats you can possibly go on if you're a man. I mean, wow, the things that I've seen in that. It's like, whew. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me. We're all in this thing. We're all doing this. Good times are ahead. Alignment is ahead. Do not let this pull you into fear, okay? That is kindergarten consciousness. That's old paradigm. That's third dimensional, lower reality, okay? You can witness things going on out here and you say, no, my world is in here. I am the cause now, all right? Love you guys. Talk to you soon. As always, peace within is peace without.